And now in a moment of symbolism that is just remarkable, the director Zhang Yimou brings the Great Wall down and replaces it with blossoming plum flowers,
Whoa.
the Chinese symbol for openness.
Again, the reconciling of opposites.
Absolutely, and again, a desire to replace one image of China with another one.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
And how'd they do it?
It is people!
They did it with people. Not computers,
It is people!
not hydraulics, people. It's unbelievable.
No, you are joking me.
Don't
What
go
in
away.
the heck?
Why would you?
What? No.
I told you I saw legs. I knew it. I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew it. Oh my gosh.
I was convinced it were hydraulics, like legs on stands or something. What? Wow.
So the opening scene shows Confucius, Chinese scholar, philosopher as we knew, and 3,000 disciples. He traveled around the stage with his 3,000 disciples to promote Confucianism 2,500 years ago. The bamboos, as we heard as well, held bamboo slips, which are books made out of bamboo sheets, threaded with the words engraved in them. The actors collectively recited a famous line from the Analects of Confucius: "Within the four seas, all are brothers," to express China's welcome to guests from all over the world, as well as China's love of peace and hope for mutual benefit as a win-win situation with all countries, which I think is essentially the point of the Olympics, right? It's like to promote economical growth for a specific part. Of course, everyone benefits from it, right? You get tourism from all over the world, to promote cultural exchange of different parts of the world, to promote
knowledge and interconnection between different countries.
like community cohesion.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure as well it's fantastic for business relationships and stuff
most
like
likely,
that.
yeah.
The big ass screen that we saw. This program is also arguably the most difficult performance of this opening ceremony.
Yeah, 100%.
Movable typewriting is one of China's 4 great inventions and great technological revolutions in the history of painting. It was born during the Northern Song Dynasty, so 1041 to 1048. These 897 movable type painting plates were made up of more than 800 soldiers and fighters who changed the character in different fonts. It shows the evolution of Chinese characters and expresses the humanistic concept of Confucius, as the commentators were mentioning, that harmony is precious. And you can sort of see the evolution of the character. During the performance, there were recitations of "Be certain of what you know and don't pretend to know things you don't." Those were what the big chants were.
Yes.
Bro was speaking facts. I know he might have spoken Chinese, but bro was speaking facts.
Write it down.
The final peach blossom in China is the anticipation of love, happiness, and beauty, and I guess it expresses China's outlook on peace and the future. Of course, we saw the big reveal, right? So how the did they do that? The 897 soldiers have been training for more than 10 months, in each with a different dynamic program, which they have memorized and practiced, obviously for 10 months. Within the 4-minute performance, each person has an average of 2 seconds to do every move, and 897 soldiers need to complete more than 120,000 movements.
But okay. Just
As
pause.
conglomerates, all of them.
Yeah.
Because it's 808, how many? 897 of them.
Pause, though. Okay, think about this.
So that's
Wait
like
up.
100 per person.
How are you counting? How are you like?
I have no idea how this
okay,
works.
How
Maybe they tap each other. Okay, you go.
No,
How would that make any sense?
That's too much time. There must be like a system. I want to know. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Maybe like a
6,
choreographer.
7, 1, 2, 3, 4,
And
5, 6,
And
7.
were they doing it
1,
like
2.
this, or were
They holding things, or you never see hands though.
No.
So they were
yeah.
obviously it's above them. They're like they must be moving.
So
What?
the rehearsals for this show took place in the summer, and the performers have to lift the 20+ kilogram barrel-shaped props hundreds of times in a single rehearsal. The temperature inside the props often exceeded 50 degrees Celsius. How the did they not get cooked?
What?
There was a mistake in this performance. What? The moment when the word, I guess, harmony was raised, there was a mold next to it that did not fall in time. Shut up. I didn't notice. It was perfect. There was no mistake. The person who under this mold was a warrior named Cheng Shifeng. And during the performance, he realized that one of the screws in the word mold he was holding had accidentally fallen out. In order to not affect the performance, he quickly reacted by inserting his finger into the place where the screw fell and completed the entire performance. Due to the weight of each word mold up to thousands of pounds during the performance of the word mold up and down, when he came off the stage, his little thumb had been severely damaged. Bro, talk about dedication. Oh my god, what the f***, dude. Poor thumb. You know what's crazy? I once had a friend, right? He lost his like pinky on his foot. What do you call that? His pinky toe.
Yeah, it's dope.
That's the name?
It is.
And apparently, like, the human body is so awesome, and it's like a chain. Mm-hmm. The way the human body operates is like a chain. So he completely lost it, and he was one of our father's friend. He was a marathon runner, and he had to learn essentially how to walk again. Mm-hmm. Because
he didn't know how to walk without his pinky toe.
I mean, he could walk, but it was causing issues in his knees and imbalance in his shoulder, and then
he had the problems with his neck. Yeah.
And then he basically had to learn how to walk again.
He had to learn how to realign himself
and
again.
Then run again, and then
win marathons.
Compete again. And I don't know if he won anything ever again.
I wonder what that.
Oh, this was the mistake. I see.
Oh my god! I wonder what his
and bro just oh wait, it was his thumb, right?
I went. Also, how long? I got a question. So if it's like 20 kgs in the middle of the summer at 50-degree heat, right? And they're obviously dehydrated. They're inside of a sauna.
20 plus kg.
Oh my god.
20 kg is not bad for an overhead press, but 100 times at 50 degrees, bro. 40 degrees, let's say.
Do they train prior to this?
Yeah, they said those were the rehearsals, mate. 10 months rehearsals. Wow. So they definitely developed the strength by then. Oh. And you're choosing big guys.
Well, they're already warriors, right? They're already military people, so I suppose they already... Wow, guys, but like his thumb, I want to know, is he okay now?
So at the early stage of the creative stage of the performance, as the directing team only provided a computer-animated rendering for the performing troops to make reference, there are no detailed instructions on how to train. In the end, the troops spent more than 20,000 sheets of calculating paper and nearly 1,000 nights of hard work. With slow play and pause, the speed of the animation effect was reduced to 1/8 of the original speed, and then the height change value of each character model was calculated frame by frame, completing the key step from the design idea to the actual training.
I want to know.
I love the fact that we're getting to know the logistics, because this just seems impossible.
It was so perfect. It made me think it was computerized. Also, who was the genius torturer's mind that came up with this?
Yeah, who came up with the first idea, because he was a maniac.
Oh my goodness. And how, okay, and who was the person who was directing the movement? They're not the director, because the director came up with the thing, right? Mm-hmm. But who was the on-stage manager?
So, in the opening ceremony of the Beijing Olympics Games in 2008, it was directed by the famous Chinese director Zhang Yimou. And the cultural performance was divided into 2 chapters. The first chapter is the splendid civilization, and the second chapter is the brilliant era. At that time, 1.1 billion people were in China, and 4.4 billion people around the world watched the opening ceremony on television. And this Olympics sets a record for the highest program's rating in human history. 4.4 billion. What the cable television channel do they use, and what servers do they have that they can handle that? 4.4 billion people. I guess it wasn't online, right? It was all televised.
I think it was televised, so different.
Still, what satellite shit are you using?
I suppose different TV channel wanted to have.
I'd love to know the logistics behind that, how that actually came to be from a network perspective.
Well, it's like the New Year's thing, right? Like every, say, specific.
Yeah, but it's nowhere near the same.
No,
Mate, let's say it's 1 billion. This is 3 billion and a half more.
Dios mío.
Exactly.
That's like
that would crash any website ever in existence of the world.
I think.
How many people tune into YouTube or Bilibili? Well, Station B, I guess it would be like, probably, I don't know a day, but it's probably like in the hundreds of millions.
You would think, but like 4 billion.
Yeah, fuck me. When looking back again at this feast 16 years ago, it is hard to imagine what a year of joy and sorrow 2008 was for China. This year, people experienced the rain and snow disasters in the south. There was the Wenchuan F earthquake, the Shenzhou 7 flight, the Chinese astronaut realized the first spacewalk. It was a very up and down year. And the success of the obviously the Olympics as well, and the success of the 2008 Olympics in Beijing made Chinese society enter a new stage of development. Again, whenever this happened in Brazil, right? In Brazil, it was a little bit more obvious because they did the Olympics, right, and they also had the World Cup.
Yes.
So
they had a lot of development.
indeed,
for
like
that
you
year,
a ton of development in areas where, like, you know, we have a ton of friends from Brazil and stuff, in areas where usually there's no commerce or there's nothing there. More and more global audiences learned about China's history, which I think is essentially the whole objective for Olympics and things like that. Culture and moral development through the Olympics, and I think this ignited a huge interest in China through, you know, I guess foreigners like us or people that may have traveled to Asia but maybe never to China. And I think a lot of people, the good news about it is you always, I say as well with tourism, like whenever you travel to a place, you obviously want to go to the touristy places and stuff, but if you go to the super touristy places, you might not learn about the actual history of the country. So you actually want to get to know just the people, not like the actual tourist things, or like when you go on those program trips. I'm never a big fan of those because there is such magic in exploration.
Yes.
And seeing then, like, for example, imagine watching Peking Opera, right? But not in a big theater in Beijing or nothing like that. Imagine a Peking theater opera
In the north of China.
Yeah.
In a little town that nobody really knows.
That maybe 100 people fit in there, and maybe the theater's a bit run down, and you're actually going to watch the best of that town, and nothing specifically made for tourists. No, I want to experience the real Chinese Peking Opera, and then you're there just really taking in that.
Well,
that would
I
be
think
life-changing.
Correct, and I agree. I think these performances and this kind of like intercultural events not only awaken the curiosity and like the truly acknowledge the beauty and of such ancient history, but also I think it ignites understanding. For a lot of people in the West, the idea of China, it's kind of like obscure because we don't get access to this gorgeous, rich history. It's very trickled down.
It's hard as well because we're only limited. Like here, for example, in the West, like there's a reason why we decided, and we do this with every country and many music industries.
Yes.
I mean, I wish the big dream for Future Friday is to essentially do this for every music industry there is. There's just so many. So I guess we're doing our best. But obviously, one of the most enigmatic ones and the curious ones has been the Chinese music industry, and this is why we decided to do it from the inside out rather than from the outside in.
Again, it kind of like puts that dot in the eye in the idea of understanding from within and not so much the watered down translated version.
Yeah, because it's so hard to actually get to know reality as it is.
Factuality, because we're not there.
And arts, you know, because that's obviously what we're interested in. Everything else, I'm not an expert on, or I don't have good opinions on, like I don't have enough knowledge. But in this, you know, we can sort of understand what the difficulty of, for example, Valeska can understand the difficulty and the extent that it takes in terms of rehearsals and to set such a big piece of contemporary dance. We understand obviously why this specific percussion might have been utilized for this specific time. Usually
the chanting, the vocal effects, the sound engineering. Just think about the performance aspect of this particular open ceremony, and it just takes the amazingness of the event to a completely mind-blowing new
ironically
state.
enough, with the chanting and the drumming, right? We know that at the time, so obviously it was Confucius sort of traveling throughout the states, right? So it's quite cool that in his philosophies, he is utilizing the same means of communication, auditory-wise, is to stimulate the towns, the people.
Keep learning through you, so don't forget to follow and like and share, and we will see you in the next one.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.